the highest praise. Hallelujah. Amen. If you can't praise God, something is wrong. Amen. Amen. As a matter of fact, if you're in church and can't praise God, something's wrong. Amen. Because you come to the wrong place to not want to praise God. And if you ever come to church and don't want to praise God, it may have been a good idea for you to stay at home, because you could hinder somebody else's praise. They had had a rough week, been through trials and tribulation, or had sick babies, or made it through the flu. So I just want to ask again, do anybody have a reason to give God a praise in his head? You ain't got to praise like everybody, but everybody should have a praise. It could have been your funeral praise. It could have been your child shouting here. You could have been in a funeral without shouting. Don't you know we got a reason to give God a praise? I'm not going to do like Brother Johnny does when he says stand up and praise. If God does something good to you, I shouldn't have to tell you to stand up and praise him. You should be wanting to praise him all by yourself. Hallelujah. We are thankful today that God is keeping us. And we're not going to trouble you long. We're glad that God allowed us to have his presence with us one more time. The Holy Spirit, our keeper, our guide. And we thank God for Jesus Christ. Amen. That bled, suffered, and died. But early on a Sunday morning, he got up with all power in his hand. And we're thankful for that. Amen. To my staff of preachers, Dr. Jones, Reverend Smith, let's give them a hand praise. Amen. They be so busy out preaching. I'm just glad to have them here today. Amen. To my chairman, Deacon Parker, and all my deacons and their wives, let's give them a hand praise. This great choir and musicians, to the ushers that faithful throughout the building, to our media ministry, to our readers, to our youth and youth department. We thank God for each and every one of you. To my wife and to those visitors that didn't stand, we're glad to have you with us on today. Amen. Numbers chapter 22. Numbers 22. Once you get there, let's jump down to around verse number 15. Once you're there, say amen. And Balak sent yet again princes more and more honorable than they. And they came to Balaam and said to him, thus says Balak, the son of Zippor, let nothing pray thee from hinder thee from coming unto me. For I will promote thee unto very great honor, and I will do whatsoever thou sayest unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. And Balaam answered and said unto him, the servant of Balak, if Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God and do less or more. Now therefore I pray you, tarry ye also here this night, that I may know what the Lord will say unto me more. And God came to Balaam at night and said unto him, if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them, but yet the word which I shall say unto thee, that shall thou do. And Balaam rose up in the morning, saddled his ass, and went with the princes of Moab. And God's anger was kindled because he went and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his 2 servants were with him. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field. And Balaam smote the ass and turned her unto the way. But the angel of the Lord stood in the path of the vineyard, and a wall being on the side, and the wall on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself into the wall and cursed Balaam's foot, and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her, or hit her again. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in the narrow place where there was no way to turn, either to the left hand or to the right hand or to the left. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down upon Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, Because thou hast marked me, I would there were a sword in my hand, but now I would kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, Am not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden, even since thou upon this day, was I ever worth to do so unto thee? And he said, Nay. That's a lot to take in. But I just want to ask the question, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Sometime back, about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I was talking to Deacon Jinx and Sister Jinx, and they were telling how much money they were saving from changing over to their current phone service to T-Mobile. And I just listened to them. Then all of a sudden I heard a commercial from T-Mobile that said, we will buy you out your current contract, pay your bill, and the price you're paying for 1 phone, you can have 4 phones. I said, T-Mobile starting to sound a little better. But Verizon, the current service carrier I have had for years, had a slogan that always stood out to me that would say, can you hear me now? The individual would be in the valley or different places, and he will always ask the question, can you hear me now? Signifying that wherever Verizon service is, you can always have service. As long as I had Verizon, Deacon George, I never dropped a call. But I was convinced to switch over to T-Mobile. They ain't paid my last bill yet. And every day I'm talking to my wife, my phone call drops. There's just certain places throughout the city, throughout the town, that if you got T-Mobile, you already know it shouldn't be T-Mobile, it should be T-No-Mobile. And so I told my wife, we should have just kept on paying what we're paying with Verizon. Because I never dropped the call, but Verizon had a slogan that they tried to ask me, can you hear me now? That is very important, because that time that the message is trying to get out. And what is being conveyed is not heard by the receiver. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes our service that connects us to God is just like T-Mobile. God is speaking to us and we just can't hear him because we got the wrong provider. And so I just want to know, as God speaks to us day in and day out, Can you hear the voice of God, or you have your own agendas, your own proclamation that whatever you want to do is sometimes louder than the voice of God? God will send stuff your way that'll make you cry in the midnight hour. All God is saying is, can you hear me now? Sometimes God allows trouble to come in your life and you wonder why you're having trouble after trouble. All God is saying is, can you hear me now? You wonder why you have more dark days and bright days and you have more downs and ups. I'm not trying to say nothing, but sometimes God could just be asking the question, can you hear me now? And if you're about 20 of y'all, I'll make 21 tell the truth. There have been times God has taken us through stuff that he really was just trying to get our attention. And you say, if I had listened to the voice of God, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Do I have anybody in here besides me that have had some trials that you didn't have to have, but you didn't listen to God? You had trouble that you didn't have to go through, but you didn't listen to God? I want to know, can you hear me now? Today we're looking at a man by the name of Balaam. Balaam was not an Israelite. He was a native of Pethro, a city in Mesopotamia. And he would sell his satanic power to the highest bidder. Balaam was not a Hebrew, not a Jew. Balaam was what we know as a sorcerer. And he would sell his gift for a profit. And many times during the Old Testament days, people thought sorcerers were connected to the gods. And Balaam, the king of Moab at the time, thought that if he paid Balaam enough money, he would go against the people that was connected to Israel. I stop by to tell you, don't let money sell you out to the God that has brought you from a long way. Now, don't let stuff, don't let people, don't let things. And Balaam got to the point, Sister Joan, that he told him, listen, whatever you desire, I will give you, but I want you to go down and make a proclamation. But if you get time and look in your own Bible, you have to believe me, back in Deuteronomy, God had told them not to go against the Moabites. You got to understand, it may not come in your time, but God said don't do it at all. And so we see here that but God has already told Balaam, whatever I tell you to do, you do. Whatever I tell you don't do, you don't do. Balaam came back to him and said, listen, I give you all the silver and gold in my house, or whatever you ask for, you can have it. That's what a hard deal to pass up. I know most of y'all don't play the lottery. But when it be $400 million, you slow down before you check out. Thank you. Y'all got quiet. Just keep saying amen. Keep going with it. If I can get that one, amen. Balaam the son of Zippor was the king of the Moabites at the time, and Balaam, the king of Moab, did realize that God had told Israel not to attack Moab in Deuteronomy chapter 2 and verse 9. And the Lord said, when the Lord said, you better be careful. Israel desires to live in peace, but Satan hates God's people. I don't care how long you've been in church or how saved you may be, Satan don't want you to have any peace. His job is to steal, kill, and destroy. He'll get in your marriage, he'll get in your children, he'll get in your co-workers, he'll get in you, he'll get in your church friends. God do all he can to give us a peaceable life, but Satan has a way of getting in good people to disrupt your peaceful life. A little more background about Balaam. Balaam was not a Jew. He was a foreigner. He was from Mesopotamia. As a boy, when I read the story and heard the story in Sunday school, I always thought Balaam was a Christian. But he was far from that. He was a sorcerer. He was a witch doctor. And at this time, he worked for whoever paid him. Whoever paid him the most. Someone called us, he said he would curse him, he would bless him, whatever he paid him, whatever he would do. And God wants to give a message to the Moabites, and they had already chosen to employ Balaam, so Balaam was available for God as much as he would use him against the wicked of Pharaoh. Balaam just said, whoever paid me, that's who I'm going to work for. But God said, don't you do what you're about to do. You got to learn to listen to the voice of God. That there's some things that don't have to happen in your life, but you got to listen to God's voice. And if you take time to read it, as Baal was convinced, the Balak came back to him after Balak said, listen, I'm not going to do it. The king of Balak, King Balak came back and said, listen, I give you more. Some of us won't sell God out for a small price, but that's a right price. He said, I'm going to go ahead and go. The next morning he got up, got on a donkey that he had been riding all his life. And he was so convinced to go do what he was going to do that when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord in the road, the donkey turned the other way. And he hit the donkey in the head. And while he was in the field, he tried to go through a vineyard. And there was a wall there. And the angel saw, the donkey saw the angel there. So the donkey ran into the wall. He hit the donkey again. And then the Balaam put him on a narrow path that he couldn't go to the left or right, and the angel was still standing there. Balaam's mind was so made up on doing what he was going to do that he couldn't see the angel of the Lord. He hit the horse down to the ground, and he asked the donkey began to talk. God, if the kids weren't here, I would use the King James way to make you understand it, but God can make a donkey talk. He started around and said, why are you hitting me? You done hit me 3 times. I'm trying to save you. Because God didn't tell me not to go. God told you not to go. And you got to understand, when you go and do what God told you not to do, you'll wish you had never touched the silver gold. I wish I had a witness here. 4 things I want to give you for those that are taking notes. Number 1, when God asks you to do something, he is looking for absolute obedience. God gave Balaam a clear directive. Do not go with them. You must not put a curse on those people because they are blessed. Listen, I've been saying this since I'm a preacher. I don't care who's in the White House, as long as we don't fight against Israel. They can have it all Democrat, Republican fight they want to, but as long as we're on Israel's side, everybody that fought against Israel, there's no more. There's no more Hittites. There's no more Canaanites. There's no more Jebusites. Everybody that fought Israel, there's no more. You got to be careful who you fight against. There's some people that belong to God, and God used Balaam to say, listen, don't you go curse them because they belong to me. What you like talking about your boss and your boss sign your paycheck? Don't talk about your boss and your co-worker because your co-worker might want your job. He gave him instructions in the way that Balaam could easily understand. There was no question about what God meant. It reminds me of Jonah. When God told Jonah to go one place, he decided to go somewhere else. Like Jonah did not get into trouble because God did not give him good direction. He got in trouble because he did not follow them. Many of us we don't get in trouble because we don't have direction. We get in trouble because we don't follow them. How many of us know more than GPS? GPS trying to lead us. I know how to get there. I got this. And then you end up on a dirt road. So the man, where you at? I don't know who had those directions. I know y'all were grieving on, but they should listen to GPS. I said, I'm following, but my GPS said goes well. If we start going a dirt road, the whole cargo of folks behind us, I started saying, deal, I got happy. I said, I don't think no church down this dirt road. Somebody said they knew the direction. I asked him, I said, you know where you go? He said, yeah, I know to get there. We went down the dirt road. Listen, when you know more than the direction that God has given you, you end up in a place you don't want to be. God has given us clear, concise direction. They're precise. They're at the point where you can understand them. And Balaam decided to do what he wanted to do, and an angel came down with a sword in his hand. And his mind was so made up. Anybody have your mind made up before you pray? Come on now. People say, I'm going to pray about it. No, if you got your mind made up, don't even pray about it. Should I buy this car? No, you had your mind made up when they let you drive it. If you don't want to buy a car, don't get in there and take for a test drive. You fall up in there, ooh, it smells good and you feel good. You said, let me pray about it. Your mind already made up. You're going to get into some more debt. And God told you don't do it. So when God gives you something to do, he looks for absolute obedience. Now notice some key pieces here. It's easy to overlook what God has told you to do because it's easier to go around. Satan will make it easy. I give you silver and gold. How many people need some money right now? Yeah, I mean, I already, I give you whatever you ask for. Satan knows what you're going through right now. He knows you desire right now. He'll make it easier to get the very thing that you see you're not going to touch, drink, feel, look at no more. Guess what? It'll show up more. Because Satan knows. But God said, I want you to be obedient. Number two, when we get out of God's will, he will often put roadblocks in our way to get our attention. Deacon Belcher, help me with this point right here. Sometimes God will put a roadblock in your way to get your attention. It's not to stop you, but to get your attention. Say, that's another way you need to go. God let Balaam go with Balaam's messenger, but he was angry about Balaam's greedy attitude. Balaam claimed that he would not go against God, but the price was right. But his resolve was beginning to slip. His greed for the wealth overtook him, and he was blind when God was trying to show him something. And so God put a roadblock in his way. How many times you've been delayed and you upset because traffic was in your way? I just get mad. I'm in a rush and everybody driving slow. So the Virgin taught me a lesson some time back. I was late for Sunday school and I'm just ready to well on my horn. My wife told me to slow down and I got ready to pass him. I was going to look at her front and I pulled up. It was Sister Virgin. I was like, hey, sis. I was like, what is the time? It's so slow. I'm trying to get there. I passed on a no pass. I pull up. I'm like, oh, hey, sis. My wife said, I told you. So I get behind slow people. I was like, hey, take your time. Because you never know why God is slowing you down. There could be an accident with your name on it around the corner, but God says they so busy, they rush him, they get ready in time, and so I'm going to get somebody to slow them down. I'll let the tire have a flat. Roadblocks are there to get your attention. Sometimes God, like he did with Balaam, will stand in the road to oppose you if he doesn't like what he sees. You wonder why you can't get this. Why is it in the way? Sometimes God has to get your attention, and you wonder why things don't just come together while pieces are not happening. God is trying to put a roadblock to get your attention. It's not always that you don't deserve it. It may not be time for you to have what you're trying to get. He comes, throw Balaam down the road, and his confidence, his mission was to go curse God's people. But God was trying to keep him in a place to be blessed. Because if Balaam had to curse God's people, he already had to deal with stuff, but what happened when you curse God's people? He put an angel standing in the way. God came out in the form of an angel. But he did not see the angel. All he see was a paycheck he was going to get from King Balaam. Number three. So not only does God want our full attention, not only must God be aware that roadblocks in our way, but number three, when God put roadblocks in our path, don't give someone else a beating for something you done. Amen. Have you seen somebody else made a mistake and they take it out on you? So somebody mad because you got good credit, got a decent car. Somebody upset because of the job you have. People get mad and beat you up. Listen, you had the same opportunity. Don't beat somebody else up because God put a roadblock in your path. And a lot of times you beat the people that's really trying to help you the most. That donkey didn't do nothing to Balaam, but he got hit. How many times have we hurt folks that's trying to help us? Many times God tries to get our attention, and we put jest, and we just won't listen. So he backs off and allows something to happen. Instead of us saying, God, thank you for allowing it to happen to me, we get mad. And Mama used to say it like this: misery loves company. When somebody else down, they don't want to see nobody else up. Amen. Amen. But instead of listening to reason, pride and anger wells up. He got irritated by the problem, and he took it out on an innocent victim. Too many times we take our problems out on innocent folks. Let God deal with you and leave everybody else alone. Number 4. Not only must we realize that God will put roadblocks in our path and don't take on the wrong person, beat the wrong person. Or when we get off the path, God put roadblocks to get our attention. You want absolute obedience. But number 4, once we recognize our mistakes, we must humble ourselves. Ask for forgiveness for those we hurt. Repent, and next time around, don't be so mule-headed. Come on now. See, the donkey's supposed to be the one that was stubborn. But instead of the donkey being stubborn, his rider was mule-headed. And when you hurt someone, humble yourself and like, listen, I was wrong. I'm sorry. And that's the toughest thing for many folks to do, to say, I'm sorry. Ask for forgiveness. I hurt you, and repent. And next time around, I'll listen to the donkey. Come on now. It may be a donkey to you, but God may be trying to say something. And many times God has put roadblocks in our way, not to stop you, but to get your attention. Many times God has put things in your path, not to say I don't like it, but I'm here to tell you, God put things in your path to say, I'm trying to show you another way. You got to be careful when you do things that's not in the will of God. Because many of us wonder why we have trial after trial, while our spouse going through stuff, while our children are going through stuff, while we going through stuff, because you didn't adhere to the roadblocks. I stop by to tell you, when you get to a place and God make a donkey speak, God is trying to get your attention. If God can make a donkey speak, God can turn my situation.